Here I have the summer homework that my son got from school. And I will just say that in Japan, at least, depending on the school, the amount of homework that you'll get is completely different. So, my friends, or at least the friends of my son where he used to live, we talked to them, asking, "Oh, how's school? Is there a lot of summer homework?" Some of them say, we have like, I don't know, 5 worksheets or something, for the like first graders and whatnot, right? There was one who said, "Oh, we have 2 worksheets," and I thought, what, 2 worksheets a day? That's kind of a lot. And then it ended up being like 2 worksheets for the entire summer. Summer vacation here is, including weekends, something like 45 days. So for my son, at least, or our school, and these are all public schools that everybody we talked to is going to, so there shouldn't be a huge difference in what they're learning. But my son has, so he has, I'll read out the like large tasks first so we can go over them. So he has summer work drills, which are a mix of Japanese and math or arithmetic. And then he has probably the biggest one is, as soon as they get back to school in September, there is a school-wide presentation, sort of like a science fair, although the creation doesn't necessarily have to be science per se, but it has to be something pretty big that you spend a lot of time on. So it can be a research paper or some sort of like creation or whatever. And you have to like research this, look up all the information, cite all your sources. And remember, first graders in elementary school do this. I don't remember doing this sort of stuff, but this is, and it gets to be a pretty big project, it looks like. And then we have another one where they're raising a flower at home, and they have to write a sort of like a journal entry about the flower, as well as or it's like a plant with lots of flowers, and they have to keep a log of how many flowers bloom each day, for at least 30 times. So that could be 30 days, or if too many flowers bloom, you could take up 2 slots for one day, I guess. But let's say roughly 25 to 30 days worth of flower blooming written down, as well as the journal there. And then 2 separate picture diary entries. So you have to draw a picture and write like a entry as how your day went, what was good about this summer day. And then there are 17 Japanese lessons online on their computers that they do. There's 6 math lessons online. There are, how many was it? At least three sort of information technology-ish, kind of like just like morals regarding using the internet sort of things they have to do online. There are, I think, at least 3 keyboard typing challenges. So you have to get used to the keyboard. And this is actually, we haven't done this one yet at all, but it might be hard to get into that typing. There are 5 more net moral learning things, 1 more math, 1 life studies, and 1 more Japanese study online. And then you have to update your flower I don't even know what it's called. It's like a PowerPoint like for thing for the flower with images and everything. And then they also want you to read several books. They don't exactly say how many books uh, is a must here, but it does say like several. So uh, you have to read several books, whatever that is. So I just listed out the musts, the must homeworks, and that is just the large tasks as they list them here is already 11 different large tasks. Um, so like I said, 17 Japanese lessons just online, and then for the summertime drills, I think there's another 11 or 12, maybe it was even 13 um, drills for that, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And these are just the you gotta do this homework, and then there's sort of like challenge homeworks as well. One, the challenge homeworks. Some of them are easy, some of them are very difficult. So one is just going through your plus and minus cards. They have cards like I don't think there's 100 of them, but something like 70 or whatever, just plus equation questions, and then 70 minus equation questions. You can just like ask them, what's this? What's this? So that's one is pretty easy. There is a reading out loud thing. They give you these reading projects. This one is more of just like getting into it rather than actually being difficult. You have to practice the piano harmonica at least 5 times. Okay, these are the ones I'm listing now are technically not absolutely necessarily, but they are kind of expected. And then you have to practice with your art stuff like crayons and pastels and all that. And then you have to at least borrow 3 books from school and read them over the summer, which does not count towards the previous books that I mentioned that you must read. So the hardest part here would probably be if you forgot to borrow those books. So these 5, they're overall I'd say pretty easy, except maybe the piano harmonica, doing that 5 times. I mean, it's not hard, of course. They don't say that you have to like complete a certain level of anything, but it's it can be kind of tough, I suppose, depending on how much you want to do and getting that all out and ready. We haven't got around to that quite yet because besides all this homework as well, we're also doing like math tests and swimming tests during the summer. So, yeah, everything on top of all this. So then we have they other things that they want you to do. That there's 4 more here they have listed here that are not necessary, but they would like you to do them. One is doing 5 pages yourself of self-study in Japanese and math. And because we have a math test coming up for my son soon, I had him like write out the times table in a notebook, and then probably going to do one more before the math test as well. And then the rest will probably just be Japanese lessons. I haven't decided. We haven't like talked about what he would do yet, but for the other math ones, probably just going to be something likely to come up on his next test. The Japanese ones, maybe just some mostly kanji practice, I suppose. We'll see. Then this one is kind of tough. They want you to read a book, which probably isn't included in all those other books that we talked about, and write an 800 character or up to 800 character your thoughts on it, basically. So I'm not getting the English word out here, but what you thought about the book, basically. A review, I guess that's probably it. A review of the book but the page is really small, so that you have to write on. and up to 800 characters. So a character, it's like a Japanese letter. So if this was English, that would be, I don't know, not quite equivalent to like 800 words, but maybe, I don't know, 400 word um, review of the book. Just kind of tough with the small boxes that they want you to write in. It's because they have like a specific format, and most first graders have trouble writing within those boxes. And then for a PE lesson, they want the kids to learn to be able to skip forward using a jump rope, skip forward 30 times without failing, and then 30 times backwards without failing. We already did the forward one, not the backward one yet. It's kind of tricky. And then finally, the last one here is they want you to do, they have like a list of something like 9, 10 contests that they want you to enter, and they say, I mean, they don't necessarily say you have to enter every one or whatever, but they did, list up all these things. So it's kind of like, well, you probably should. And most of them are basically like draw a picture, but like a really big picture, like this huge piece of paper, right? So if your kid really likes drawing, that is probably not too tough, but you got to draw like 9 pictures or something. It's quite a few. But if your kid does not like drawing, that'd be a little bit more tough. And there's also like I think 2 or so of those challenges that were for like Japanese things where they want you to. I think one was basically a sort of a shodo thing where they want you to just like write some characters on a large piece of paper using ink and a brush, which is, I'd say, probably much easier to attempt than drawing full pictures. Whether or not attempting this will be a good attempt or not is, completely up to the judges, but we'll probably do most of those, I think. Anyway, I spent a while like looking through all the tasks that he has to do during the summer and breaking them down into, like if it says these 17 Japanese worksheet things, that will be 17 tasks. And the summer drills, I'm pretty sure there's 23 summer drills, so 23 worksheets. Most of these worksheets aren't that tough, but anybody here who's a parent, getting your son or daughter to sit down, be like, okay, now we're going to sit down for like 8 hours and just do worksheets or something like that. It's not easy, even if the material is mostly pretty easy. Yeah, so I broke all these down into tasks, and then most of the contest ones were like 2 or 3 tasks. Like figuring out the thing you want to do here and doing it and handing it in, basically. So most of them I just made into 2 tasks. The research project, though, that I broke it down. It was something like, I think I made that into 23 tasks, which was the biggest project, just because there's so much that we really have to do in order to go through the research. And then there's also this whole thing about, you have to go to the library and find books and go on the internet and look up information on the internet about whatever you decide to study, maybe even look through research papers and such. I don't know how much they expect for elementary students, especially grade 1 students, because if we are actually like looking at research papers, a lot of those are going to be in English. My son doesn't speak nearly that level of English yet, or read, of course, so it would be me just telling him the information, basically, which, I think learning the information from research papers and stuff, and even if you don't read them yourself, is fully acceptable and everything. But I'm kind of unclear on the exact expectations in some ways. Anyways, I broke all these tasks down, made a huge list up in like a Notion database, and the ones that he is supposed to do over the summer. So the must tasks, I think there were something like 83 you have to do tasks, maybe a few more, close to 100. And then including the you can do these or you should do these tasks, there's something like 206 is the number I ended up with. So 206 tasks that the kids are maybe expected to. Again, not some of these are optional, so it's not like you got to do all of these. But either way, it's more homework than I see most of the other schools kids are getting. So it's pretty intense. And if something is assigned, I kind of like from my point of view as a parent, I say, okay, we're gonna do our best to complete all of these, all 206 tasks, to the best of our ability. Some tasks we can kind of like wing it a little bit, but like the research project and whatnot, we gotta put a lot of work into those. So I'm trying to get my son interested in all of that. But on top of all this, we have the math test coming up. We have a swimming test soon, and we have specific studying for that, training for the swimming and all that. These other tasks too. So we've got like 300 plus summer tasks or whatever. So it's going to be busy, very busy. So I just wanted to say there's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of stuff. So yeah, that is just my small update regarding the summertime homework, and saying that there is a lot of it. So we're going to do our best to knock off all these tasks. We've already started going pretty hard on some of them. I think we got through all of the summer drills already. We did all the math drills that they wanted us to do as well. And I had them prioritize most of these because the math test is coming up soon. So even though the math test that we're challenging is grade 2 and this stuff here is grade 1 math, they are related still. You have to know how to read clocks and whatnot either way. So it's useful stuff, I think. And we've started some things for the science fair, research, just trying to get him to keep his attention and reading like a couple books every night, a book or two pretty much every night. So that's that. Just mostly short ones. There's some long ones too, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through those long ones, but yeah, trying to read a few books and get in. Gotta get on that music stuff still, but and looking at that flower every day, how many flowers bloomed. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. So I just wanted to give that short update on the insane amount of summer homework. 206 homeworks, let's say, is the summer task for roughly 45 days, including weekends. So it's like basically instead of class, you're just working on school stuff all day. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but there's a lot to do. So remember to like, subscribe,